One 150-meter vessel, one target, only giant king crab.
They inspect latches and mesh, because a single failure can empty an entire pot.
Bait jars are packed tight to release scent slow through a long, deep water soak. Heavy pots demand discipline, clear lanes, clear signals, and no hands near pinch points.
They test the hauler for smooth pull and controlled braking under extreme load.
Paper charts guide them to deep structure where giant king crab concentrates.
Each pot is staged in sequence so the set drops cleanly, even in rough seas.
Buoy lines get reinforced with chafe gear because bottom abrasion never forgives. Below deck, hydraulics warm up for repeated heavy lifts from deep water. Under lights, every latch is checked. Pots must stay closed on the bottom. The 150-meter trap vessel heads offshore, built for steel, rope, and weather. At sunrise, the deck is cleared, and the crew locks into set order. The first buoy hits the sea, marking the start of a deep crab string.
A baited pot is guided to the rail, bridles and doors checked one last time.
The first pot falls away, beginning a long descent to the deep bottom.
The line runs clean through fair leads, so the pot lands without tangling.
Before each drop, they confirm doors, bait, and bridles are locked.
A steady cadence lays a straight string across the productive depth band. From the surface, only buoy and rope remain before the pots vanish below. Splices and knots get checked mid-set because recovery depend on one rope.
They log buoy IDs and pot counts on paper to track the string precisely. The last pot drops, and the soak timer starts for the entire string. An end buoy marks the string so they can return and haul in clean order.
They rinse the deck now. Footing must be perfect when the hauling begins.
While the pots soak, the crew refuels for the hard work of hauling. Night watch monitors drift and weather while the pots fish on the bottom. At dawn, tools are staged so each pot can be processed fast and safely.
They come alongside carefully, avoiding rope under the bow and keeping the bight clear.
The rope enters the hauler, and the deep string begins its climb. Hauling starts slow and steady. One mistake can whip rope across steel. The rollers pull hard, and the first pot is minutes from the surface. Small angle changes matter. Good posture and spacing prevent injuries.
The first pot surfaces, and giant king crab is clearly visible through the mesh.
They control the swing and set the pot down without crushing fingers or toes. The door opens to reveal only giant king crab. No bycatch, no surprises.
A heavy crab hits the table, and the crew keeps claws and hands under control.
They measure carapace width fast, deciding keepers without excess handling.
A tight close-up confirms the target species by armor, spines, and massive leg span.
Claws are banded quickly to protect the crew during the rest of the sort.
Keepers go straight into cold live tanks to preserve quality and survival.
Non-keepers are returned carefully, minimizing stress and protecting the stock. They rebait and relatch immediately. Efficiency keeps the string productive.
Another pot breaks surface, again packed with only giant king crab.
They guide the crabs out in a controlled flow, keeping legs intact. Counts and sizes are recorded by hand so nothing is missed on a long string.
In the live tank, the catch stays cold and oxygenated as hauling continues.
Between pots, they reset footing. Wet steel is unforgiving.
Chafe protection goes on before the rope wears thin under constant tension.
A heavier pot surfaces, suggesting the string is crossing a strong crab patch. They control the pot's swing. Steel moves fast when the sea lifts the deck.
Banding happens fast because an unbanded claw can end a season instantly.
Measure, mark, and move. Consistency keeps the line moving.
Keepers disappear into cold water storage, protected until landing. Returns are gentle and deliberate, keeping the fishery strong. Wind rises, but the cadence stays steady to finish the string safely. They guide the rope, never grab it. Hand injuries happen in a heartbeat.
Another pot rises, again showing only giant king crab inside.
They stabilize the pot before opening. Pinch points are everywhere. The table fills fast, and the crew keeps order through repetition.
Armor plates and spinnies confirm the same target species every single time.
Bands go on cleanly, keeping the crew safe and the crab calm. Measurements stay consistent. Compliance depends on doing it the same way. Keepers go into cold water immediately, protecting texture and value. They rebait fast. Idle minutes cost money on a working deck.
A small snag can spike tension, so they stop and clear it immediately.
Once cleared, they bring the line up at a safe, steady speed. This pot comes up heavy, signaling a dense patch on the bottom. Legs unfold across the table, and the crew moves with practiced speed. Up close, the crab's armor looks prehistoric, built for cold, hard-bottom life. Band, measure, decide. Each crab is processed in seconds.
Keepers drop into cold water, and the tank lid closes fast. Swell shifts the load, so they slow down and keep the rope centered.
Another pot rises through spray, still holding crab behind the mesh.
In a sudden burst, a giant crab lunges upward, pure armored power in a split second.
They don't panic, distance,
Calm hands and bands bring control back fast.
They measure again. Proof beats guesses when the rules are strict.
The live tanks hold the catch steady, cold, and alive between pots. A fast rinse keeps traction high and the sorting area clean.
They replace worn hardware now because steel failures happen without warning.
Another heavy pot surfaces, confirming the string is on the right depth band.
They keep the workflow tight, unload, band, measure, and clear the table.
The shell spines and ridges are unmistakable. This is giant king crab territory.
They release non-keepers gently, preserving the future of the fishery. Each pot is reset immediately, turning hauling into the next set's preparation.
They respect the rope's snap zone. Distance is the safest habit on deck.
Some pots come up light, but the species stays the same. Only king crab.
Light pots still get processed fast. Efficiency doesn't change with volume. They verify flow and oxygen. Live catch is only valuable if it stays healthy.
Another pot rises, and the mesh shows the same armored legs inside.
The crew runs a production line, measure, band, keep, or release, repeat. Fatigue builds, but discipline keeps every movement controlled.
They pause for chafe. Preventing a break is faster than fixing a disaster. Back to work. Steady speed and centered rope keep everything predictable. Another pot surfaces, and the deck prepares for the next heavy landing.
They set it flat before opening. Control first, then speed. Bands go on cleanly. Safe hands mean the string keeps moving. They tally the pot count. Missing a pot is not an option. Keepers are secured in cold water storage, stabilizing the day's value. They return non-keepers gently, keeping impacts low and survival high.
A quick rinse keeps traction high for the final stretch of pots.
As the string ends, fatigue peaks, but the process stays disciplined.
The end buoy comes aboard, proof the entire string is recovered and accounted for. In the tanks, cold water and oxygen keep the catch stable for the run home.
They verify flow and oxygen. Live crab must arrive strong to hold value. Paper forms connect buoy IDs to tank lots, keeping traceability simple and solid.
They wash down gear and tables, clean steel matters at the dock.
With pots secured, the vessel turns home while the live tanks keep working below deck.
Land comes into view, and the crew prepares for a fast, gentle offload.
Mooring lines bite and the vessel settles, keeping tank water stable and calm.
They stage transfer gear so live crab can move quickly with minimal stress.
The hatch opens, and only giant king crab is visible, ready for careful transfer. Crab is transferred gently into holding, minimizing shock and claw damage.
Signature's complete chain of custody from the buoy string to the dock.
After offload, the deck is washed again to remove salt, grit, and bait residue.
They repair mesh and latches now, so every pot is ready for the next set.
Ropes are coiled and pots are lashed, restoring order after the heavy haul.
With the job complete, the crew shares quick high fives and a short cheer. Harbor lights shimmer as the crew finally slows down after hours of repetition.
The gear tells the story: heavy pots, disciplined handling, and a single species catch.
One 150-meter vessel, traps only, and only giant king crab, handled cleanly from sea to dock.